1132301. IBAN GB49ARAY 30008301 132301. Sort code 300083. SWIFT BIC code ARAY GB22. Please confirm your contribution at support@peacetv.tv.
Support Peace TV, the solution for humanity.
Peace TV Network, the solution for humanity.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to another episode. So we are ready for another day of investigation into Dawah Ilallah and how to give the message of Islam to our friends and our family and to those around us, be they Muslim born or non-Muslim born. Dawah is to be given to the whole of humanity. So we've been looking at Islam, at the different aspects that are important in doing dawah, the characteristics that we should have as a da'i, and the characteristics that we're inviting people to adopt in their lives. And we're looking in this series at how we can be effective. Sometimes we do dawah for the sake of dawah. And some people just go out and they're so busy doing nothing that they're so busy that they're doing nothing. And sometimes we go out and do dawah, it's not strategic, it's not focused, it's not done correctly. And so we find that we don't have any results. So the idea is to show you in this series how to be effective in calling to submission to Allah. And that is the whole idea behind Dawah Ilallah. And we are going through a book entitled Dawah Ilallah that helps us to understand, inshallah, how to be effective in the work that we are doing. So an important aspect of dawah is to invite people to preach and practice freedom of man, to teach men how to be free from slavery, from the slavery of men until the voluntary slavery to Allah and to the brotherhood that can be created by joining the greater family of Islam. That's what we are trying to do. Every human being is a slave. There is no such thing as a free man. We're all slaves. We are slaves to the system. We are slaves to economic strains. We are slaves to the bank. We are slaves to our job. We are slaves to our husband. We are slaves to our wives. Our children are slaves to us. Whatever, we're all slaves. We're all serving something. But the vast majority of the world are slaves to shaitan. We are slaves. Whatever he says, we do. Whatever he bids, we do, because we haven't submitted to Allah. So you have a choice. You're either a slave to shaitan, or you can voluntarily move away and become a bond slave to Allah. And if you don't know what a bond slave is, you're welcome to look at a few episodes ago where we spoke about what a bond slave is. Now we're going to continue with the book and read what the brother has written regarding how to establish brotherhood and freedom of slavery amongst those people who come into Islam.
Mughira bin Shuba, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, a Muslim emissary, had explained the teachings of the Prophet ﷺ to the chief of Iranian forces in the following words: "We are not traders. We do not aim to look for markets. We are the flag bearers of the right deen. Allah is one. Muhammad is his prophet. Quran is Allah's command. Man is not a slave of man. All men are brothers to each other." Al-Bidayah wa Nihaya.
How beautiful was that? I mean, we should all have that written in our homes, that we are not traders, even though they were. They were traders, they were businessmen. This man is talking as a businessman to the people that he had visited. And when he was asked to explain Islam to them, he says, the selling of products is just by the way. We are not traders. Our aim is not to look for new markets. As a businessman, even though you are selling products, your prime directive, to use a Star Trek term, your prime directive is to be a flag bearer of the right deen. And so he says in the open language, we are not traders, even though he was. We are not looking for new markets, even though he was. Our main aim is that we are flag bearers of the right deen. Subhanallah. Imagine if businessmen opened up their conversations when maybe they had a big business meeting at Wall Street. And there's a Muslim businessman coming in, and as he sits down, he says these same lines. Imagine today in society, if businessmen said this. If they opened up their meetings with non-Muslims in this way. Thank you for inviting us to your meeting. We are not here to do business. We are not here trying to find new marketplaces. We are here as Muslim businessmen to be flag bearers to the true deen of Islam. And that Allah is one. His next line he says, and Muhammad is his prophet. And the Quran is Allah's command. Man is not a slave to a man, and all men are brothers to each other. Imagine if we had the courage to be like this man. Imagine if we had said that in today's society, if our businessmen had the courage to do that, to open up. And Allah blessed this man. Allah made this man even richer if we read the history of his story. Because he opened up every dialogue with that. SubhanAllah, imagine if we could be like that. We put this into our lives. Sometimes when we go to speak to people and our businesses and our practices that we have in life, but we have to try to apply this into our lives. Inshallah, this is the aim of Islam. This is what Islam is all about. Our first and foremost requirement is to call people to Islam. Secondary is how we're going to make money. And if we did that, you know how many people would respect us more? They would respect you more. I have people that I know who say, you know, one thing about you, you're consistent. You keep talking about Islam, you're consistent. And so that's supposed to be a criticism. I take that as a compliment when somebody says that. They say, oh, one thing for sure, you're just consistent. You're consistently in that religious mode. That's what my brother would say. But that is how we should be doing business. We should be opening up by giving the call to Islam. We should be opening up our conversations. We should open up. When you open up your business tomorrow morning, call a staff meeting, whether they all be Muslim. Doesn't matter if they're all Muslims. And you get them all to sit down and you have a 5-minute chat about Islam every single day before you go into the business day. You do not do business, do not trade until everybody has gathered in the boardroom or wherever it is that your staff never get to go to. And if you're the owner of that business and you've got a boardroom for your directors, all your staff are going to come and sit in that boardroom. Because there are no slaves in Islam. And so you're going to bring them into the place where they have never been before to show that you are true Muslim. Doesn't mean that you don't have to have that healthy distance between the employee and the employer. But at this 5 minutes every day when you start your day off, you are all brothers one to the other. And then you go back to your work. You need to prove that you're a Muslim. How are you going to be able to do dawah if they see Muslims as separate? One of the sad things that we see in many countries in the world is that many Muslims don't employ Muslims in their workplace because they want to stay open longer. And if they have Muslims working in their workplace, they'll have to close during Salah time. So they have that in the back of their mind. And you think there's going to be barakah in your business. You think that you're going to get money and you're going to survive. Allah knows the intention of the heart. And if your intention of the heart is to stay open an extra 20 minutes, then there is a great problem in the Muslim Ummah. If those non-Muslims who are working in your business place have not been told and given the opportunity to accept Islam, you are also showing that this Muslim Ummah that we are living in is in a seriously bad shape. We have to be doing dawah. Call someone in your area. If you don't know how to talk to your staff, if you don't know how to speak to your people about Islam, call an organization. There are hundreds, thousands. in the world, they can come and they will be more than happy to do a 20-minute presentation on Islam to your staff. So we have to make Islam practical in our lives. We need to make Dawah practical in our lives, how to do it in our day-to-day context. One of the most effective forms of Dawah that I've found in doing it amongst businesses, I have businessmen phoning me all the time to come and talk to their staff, because in South Africa I have a radio program that I do, which is similar to what we're doing now. And on this show I get people phoning me and asking me, can you come to my business and talk to my staff about Islam? And so I've started a new program now. You know the reps, you know what a rep is? A representative from a company. He'll come to, say you have a store that you are selling all sorts of different products in, a convenience store. So these reps will come from these different companies. And they'll come and they say, well, we've got this new laptop or palm top. We want to show you about it. Would you like to buy 20 to sell in your shop? They have these reps. So what I've started is a new class, a new course, and you can apply this in the country you come from, where we get those Muslim businesses, when they get the reps, to come around at the same time. All the reps must come at the same time. And the reps all come and we have a lunch for them. And then we have the speakers that present a series of talks to the reps about how to be successful in doing business amongst Muslims. Don't you think that's what they want? They want to make more money. We are going to show them how to make more money out of Muslims. But we're doing dawah to them. So we say, we have a speaker who will stand up and speak to them for 15 minutes and say, when you come to a Muslim home or a Muslim business and you want to speak to them about buying your product, this is how you should dress. This is how the clothing that would be more acceptable, and they'd be more open to listening to you if you dressed like this. So we're giving them suggestions on modesty. Then the next speaker will come in and say, this is how you talk about business investment with money. And he'd be talking from a Sharia compliant background on how to deal with finances. And then somebody else would come in and say, this is how you greet. If you're a woman, don't extend your hand, he's not going to shake it. So you see, we're helping them to be more effective, how to use terminologies, but at the same time, we've given them dawah. And they've sat there and taken notes and written down all these things. You see, it's easy to do dawah. Dawah is not complicated. It's very, very easy to do, and it's very situational. So you can apply it to every area of your life. Don't always do it in the same old way as it's been done all the time. Think of the needs of the people. This is how the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ did his dawah, how he called people to Islam. He went to the situation that they were at, and he spoke to their lives at where they were. He didn't wait for them to come to him. He would speak to the people where he saw them. He would reach out to people where they were, be they rich or be they poor, be they businessmen or not. And we find much of the work of that early Muslim community, it was businessmen that kept it going. And so businessmen, we must not forget, that are very, very important for us to help them, because they are employing our brothers and our sisters. They are helping us to be successful in the work that we're doing. And some of them support Muslim organizations and the work of Muslim organizations. So they're very important. So we as da'is need to help them to keep that business going, because they are keeping other businesses going. They are keeping Muslim organizations going. If we lose our businessmen, we lose many of those Muslim organizations, lose a lifeline. So they're very, very important.
Every human being can agree to disagree or disagree to agree. Dispute superstitions and refute the myth which is created around the word religion, which is misinterpreted, misconstrued and misjudged. Let's wake up from delusion. And step into the world of reality with confidence. Find all the answers to confront or defy. reject or accept, dispute or challenge when caught in crossfire.
Misconceptions clarified, falsehood exposed, and truth revealed. Discover the reality with Dr. Zakir Naik in Crossfire every Saturday at 8:30 p.m. and repeat telecast at 12:30 p.m. UK on Peace TV. Peace TV presents over 100 million viewers at one of the largest peace conferences in the world, addressing a sea of spellbound spectators. Over 30 world-renowned orators on Islam with credentials impeccable.
The truth of Islam.
Deen is your way of life.
It is our duty, our obligation.
By following the Quran and Sunnah, we will give the message to one and all.
With articulation exquisite.
Read the book of Allah.
Islam is the easy way. It's the simple way.
Remind each other.
The Muslim is not a source of harm for other people.
Collaborate with the people for good.
This is the call of Islam.
With the mission of spreading the truth of Islam.
Do what you can to spread the word of Islam.
Wherever we are,
live like Muslims.
use your power.
Allah is saying, why do you need anything else? This Quran is self-sufficient.
The only book on the face of the globe, the Quran.
How a human being should lead his life is given in this instruction manual, the glorious Quran.
For peace to prevail on earth in Peacemakers. Next on Peace TV.
So let's move on to the next section in the series that we're doing, and that is the characteristics of a da'i. Now, we need to look at some of the important characteristics that are required in a da'i and the duties that we need to have one to another and how we need to extend these to people. So the first point that this book brings up, it says, first of all, a da'i should be firm in his belief that Islam is a true religion, or is the true religion. If you do not believe it, no one else will. Have you been into a mobile shop? You know when you go to a mobile shop and it's time for a new mobile phone, or it's time for a new cell phone, and you go there and you look at all the different makes. There's like 20 different makes, maybe 5 different makes. As the years go by, there's less and less makes I see. So there's 5 different makes. You don't know which is which. You've seen the adverts on television, you've seen the advert in the newspaper, and you go there and there's a sales rep standing there, someone who's supposed to know what's going on. And you say to him, which is the best phone, and I only want to pay 30,000 rupees, $400, 4,000 Rand, $400. That's what you're prepared to pay for a mobile phone. You walk and you say, my budget is $400. Give me the best phone. And the guy goes, well, they're all the same. I mean, they're all the same. I mean, this one is this, does that, and that one. So you go to the man and you say, you're supposed to be a salesman. And he goes to you and he goes, all the same. There's no difference. This one's got a screen, that one's got a screen, that one's got a screen. It's so funny. This is the funniest thing. I'm going to go off the topic now. Have you seen what's happened with mobile phones? They got more gimmicks and people are buying them, but the battery life is shorter. I have an old phone that I bought here in 2010 in India that I'm still using. That thing lasts the whole week. And people say, why are you still using a phone back then? Because your one lasts a half a day. The battery lasts half a day. I don't want a phone that's going to last half a day. I want one the battery life is going to last the whole week. I'm lazy. I don't want to charge it every time. I mean, come on. Who can last half a day with a mobile phone? But that's besides the point. Maybe some of us are like that in our Islam, you know. We only got a half a day of Islam. And then the rest of the time we're not really good Muslims. We need to charge ourselves properly. Maybe the older system works better. So if we are a salesman and we are selling mobile phones and we do not believe in the product we have, the person will just walk out the shop. I've done this so many times. I'm one of those people. If I go to a place, I want the salesman to tell me what I should be buying. I don't want to choose what I'm going to be buying. I'd have gone online. If I knew what I wanted, I would have ordered it online. If I don't know what I want, I go into the shop and the salesman is there to tell me. So when I went to buy a new washing machine, I went to go to look at the washing machines, and they've got this one's got central fuse drive, and that one's got direct drive, and that one's got pinwheel drive, and this one's got, they all got different drives. How much I know which is which? I don't know. I just want to push a button and put stuff in. That's all I want to know. I don't want to know how this one's got that. It's so confusing for me. I don't know what it all means. Maybe women are able to identify pinwheel drives, and I doubt it, but all these different drives that they have for a simple thing called a washing machine. And there's all different makes, and this one's got a diamond filter, and this one's got aerations, and I don't know what, all sorts of strange things. I want a salesman to tell me what I want to buy. And I remember when I went to get a washing machine, I looked at this one, and it was double than the one the salesman wanted me to get. He actually took me to a cheaper one, half the price. And he said, this one's better than, I said, why? He said, hey, and he told me all the inside stuff, all the inside, behind the scenes information. So sometimes salesmen are not only there to sell you the most expensive, they're selling you the one that works better. So I've got a nice washing machine that does all sorts of things I have no idea about, but it does the washing. That's all I know. Now, if you do not believe in Islam, you're like that salesman at the cell phone shop, that mobile shop. He goes, they're all the same. I don't know, they're all the same. Huh? Don't people say all religions are the same? Muslims, I've heard, say that. You go to Muslims, I don't want to get into an argument like, all religions are the same. No, they're not. Not all washing machines are the same. Not all mobile phones are the same. Mine lasts for a week, yours lasts for half a day. So my phone is better than yours, if we're looking at it on the battery life. So we want somebody who believes in what they're saying. If you don't believe in what you're saying, why should anyone else believe in what you're saying? There has to be that confidence, that sureness. We need to have established Islam in our lives. If it's not established, then you won't believe it. And so when somebody says that, you'll be apologetic about being a Muslim. Do you know there's something in Christianity called apologetics? Do you know that? It's a form of religious study, theological study. It's a wing of Christianity called apologetics. Can you believe it? That a religion would have people who study to be apologists. So we are Christian apologists. We apologize. Are we so sorry that this verse is here? Are we so sorry that you don't understand what this means? There's no way we can explain it through the book, but we have our own theory. There's no such thing as an apologist to Islam. We're not apologizing for Islam. Take it or leave it. It's as you see it. If you don't want to buy this washing machine, then you lose out and go buy the more expensive one because you believe the hype. So when we come to Islam, we say to the person, this is Islam. We're not apologizing for it. There's no apologists in Islam. If there's a verse that you got problems with, there's a man who will explain it to you. But we're not apologizing for what the verse says. You understand? So in Islam, there are scholars that we have who specialize in explaining difficult verses that we have in the Quran. But he's not an apologist. He doesn't try and rewrite it to suit the palate of the people. He doesn't repackage it so that people can go, okay, I can accept that. It's not so bad as what I thought it meant. You understand? So it's very, very important that as a day that we believe and that we've established Islam in our life before we try to convince anybody else about it. And we should have no doubt that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was a messenger of Allah. We must have no doubt that there is only one God, and that God is Allah. And that we must have no doubt that Islam is the only acceptable religion to Allah. It says in the Quran in chapter 3 verse 19, it says, verily the deen with Allah is Islam. The acceptable religion, the acceptable way of life, the acceptable belief system is Islam. There's no debate. There's no opening for something else. One of the religions acceptable to Allah is Islam. No, the only, the one and only. It's an all or nothing situation. The second most important thing for a Da'i is his manners. This is important. Da'i should have good manners. He should behave in a good way. It must be everything to him. You know, in India, the manners are very different to the way the manners are in America, very different to the way they are in South Africa, very different to Germany, very different to Spain. Everywhere you go, it's different. I remember when I came here to India in 2009, I used to shake hands with the people in India with both hands. And the brother's eyes got as big as saucers and said, what are you doing? You're not allowed to shake hands with both hands, only one hand. because it wasn't good manners to do it here. In Africa, when we greet each other, don't do it when I'm in India, because again the brothers will get very upset because it's not acceptable here. Manners are different. We greet each other by going like this or like that. It shows that there's nothing in our hands. Expose our hands to the person straight away. Look, nothing. I got no weapons. It's an old tradition, an old custom. So in Africa, people will greet each other like this, or things like, or shake hands with both hands to show there's nothing in your hand. It's not acceptable in India. In Africa, you must give a dead fish handshake. You know what a dead fish handshake is? You know when someone puts their hand in yours and it's like a dead fish? It's like hardly even, it's very limp. And they shake your hand and it's like, almost like, what was that? That's not a hand, that's a dead fish. So in Africa, you must never squeeze a hand. That shows disrespect. So in Islam, we have to understand the manners and the customs of the people around us. And we have to have established good manners in ourselves. Yes, we need to accept the manners of the people around. Some people say, well, we are Muslims and we have only one. No, we don't. We come from different cultures. We come from different backgrounds. But there are acceptable manners that are universal to all the different Muslims everywhere in the world. But we as Muslims must understand that good manners are very, very important. And to understand the culture that we're going to, what is acceptable and what's not. If I was a school teacher and I walked into a classroom, what would you all do if you're all sitting down? You'd all stand up. In Africa, they do the exact opposite. If a teacher walks in, they all sit down, because you must never be higher than the teacher. The teacher must always be higher the whole time. So they all sit down, never stand up. It would be rude to do that. So there are different cultures, there are different beliefs, they have different things. Each culture is different. And it is a requirement that we must learn other people's cultures and we must respect their culture. Even the way we dress. If I go to America, not appropriate to wear clothes like this because I'm not respecting the culture of the people. Well, we'll deal with more about this next week, inshallah, when we deal with a little bit more about culture and how we should behave and our manners in Islam. So from me, Areeb Islam, and those in the audience here, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
مشفق متعطف
The value of money in the hereafter will be measured by its proper use in the present.
يا أيها الذين آمنوا أنفقوا مما رزقناكم من قبل أن يأتي يوم لا بيع فيه ولا خلة ولا شفاعة.
According to the glorious Quran, one of the best ways to use your money is to spend it in the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by spreading His message of Islam. Peace TV is a non-profit Islamic satellite television channel that is primarily dedicated for just that cause, the proper presentation of Islam. It's a great choice to invest in it and a golden opportunity to purify your wealth in a way that pleases Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Support Peace TV. Send your zakat and donations to IRFI Al Ryan Bank, 47 Calthorpe Road, Birmingham, UK. B151TH. Pound account number 011-32301. IBAN GB49ARAY 30008301 132301. Sort code 300083. Swift BIC code ARAY GB22. Please confirm your contribution at support@peacetv.tv.
Support Peace TV, the solution for humanity.